Hey guys, this is Andy McCann coming to you from Woodstock, Georgia, where I own CrossFit for Garage, and I am trying to help you live a good life. I'm talking about and how to lay a firm foundation in fitness, food, and finance, which is the name of this podcast. All right, this is also a YouTube video, so it's, consume it however you see fit. What I'm going to do today, I should go back and do part 4 and 5 of the 5 things, the 5 pillars of health and fitness, but I'm not going to do that today. I had fun with some other questions. So I am going to go back and forth in some real questions and fake questions. So real question is going to be something like, let me see, how do you train for the kind of strength and stamina needed to bug out with a pack and you're on foot and you have to go 10 miles. So the idea of these questions is going to be from the survival community that I work with. It's the Survival Podcast with Jack Spirko. And they submitted a bunch of questions, and I took some of those questions and I made them a little bit more fitnessy, and then we got a couple that are fun. So like a fun question is, if you're in the end, right, zombies are abounding, these are the questions that would come up. And they're supposed to be funny. Which is more effective for strength gains? Lifting goats or dragging your teenager out of bed at 5 a.m.? So that potentially isn't in times, but that's a funny question. Anyway, so I'm going to go back and forth between these questions and just answer them. Sometimes I don't need to be serious. Sometimes it's just for fun. So maybe this title of this podcast episode is going to be called Just for Fun Questions. All right? Okay. So let's get done with the housekeeping first. Guys, if you're in Woodstock, come to CrossFit Garage. You can join our gym. We are currently in... June 21st, 2025, we are $175 per month, no contract ever, plus whatever your credit card fee is. Come on, join the gym. If you're nervous, don't be. We will help you get there. We specialize in helping people who haven't really done anything in a while want to get that health and fitness back. As a matter of fact, we just had Foster joined the gym. He was a member 12 years ago. We started using Wodify, our tracking software, about 14 years ago. So he was in there. I was able to find his old account. Of course, he's like, hey, I see my account's up and you've got a picture from 12 years ago. Let's change that bad boy. So he's at the 5 a.m. class. You guys may never meet him because 5 a.m. is a whole different animal. We had a couple other new folks join. We've got, let me think of the names real quick. The pressure of a name, right? Jared, he came to the 6 a.m. and Charlotte is back. Yay, Charlotte. And her husband Carter may join us. And then this morning we had Cam come to the gym. So I am part of this group. Let me pull that up for you so you can see it. Called BNI, or Business Networking International, I guess. I don't actually know what it's the full name's for. And it's an interesting group of entrepreneurs. They are actually looking for other local entrepreneurs. This group is everywhere, but of course I'm here in the one for Woodstock. And what they do is help business owners of course, network, but then refer people when they're trusted. So you'll see some of these guys coming to the gym. Also, Christy and her husband. Oh, Christy, what is your husband's name? Johnny. Her husband Johnny. They run a facial business. So if you're into that, mani-pedi, facial, all that stuff, she has a business, and she's at the gym now. So she's at the 8:30 class. Anyway, if you are not local, we've got we've got garagefitness.online. Charles, my brother, and I are in the process of changing it around to make it a little bit easier to get into immediately and a little less cumbersome. So you'll see some changes in that. And then if you're in the gym already, we have let me sign into this bad boy. We have a couple group me's we are running. Mike, I love it. So Mike posted a picture of his Secret Service self. I love it. How do I heart that thing? I'm so bad with, how do I put a heart there? I don't know how to do it. I have to do it. Oh, there it is right there. Boop. Heart. Yay. So anyway, we've got an outdoors event. So if you're into adventure racing, obstacle racing, or basically anything outdoors, like our mountain biking group, we meet Saturday, 8 a.m. Come join. We now have a rock climbing group that Coach Jamie is leading. There's a board gamers and D&D group. And then we're have a pickleball group, which has been quiet. We're trying to get that one going. Sorry, Mike. And then we have a CrossFit Garage men's group, so guys trying to hang out and get together. There's also a homesteading group for all of us that do chickens. Anyway, join us in there. Some other things that you guys might be interested in, because I am, and we're a lot alike. I follow this lady right here, Nicole Sauce. She's got some awesome coffee as well as other inspirational stuff, living that homesteading life. Of course, you know the Survival Podcast. I love those guys. and have been doing a lot of work with them. I am on their expert council, so every other Thursday, or once a month or something, you'll see me on there. Patrick with MT Knives. So if you're into knives, you can buy from him. I love that guy. And of course, Ken Daniels, the blood sugar chef. He's got a lot of cool stuff going on. This is, if you listen to last week's episode, this is where like some of the things that the statistics say aren't actually true for everyone. They say, hey, statistically being a chef is not that profitable. Yet sometimes it works out great, like for Ken. So anywho, also, last thing for you, then I'll jump into these questions, is we do have some free materials. So if you go to CrossFitGarage.com/free, or just go to our website and then hover over gym information, free resources, you'll see a whole bunch of stuff that we give away. Guys, I want you to be healthy and fit. Yeah, it's true. I run this business kind of like a hobby because it's fun and I like to be healthy and fit, and I like to find people like you out there to find the last thing of the 5 things: how you eat, sleep, move, think, and connect. I want to find that connection and help you connect, because in the end, those with the best connections live the best lives because people give a crap and they care and they love you. All right, so here we go. All right, so as I said, these questions are sort of around the idea of, hey, it's a harder time in life. There's been a recession, a depression. So the difference between a recession and depression: in a recession, somebody else lost their job. In a depression, you lost your job. So it doesn't matter what the economists say. When it happens to you, it totally becomes a depression right there. Anyway, so when times are bad, let's say, I don't know, there's a flash flood or a hurricane comes smacking. Sometime life gets weird and you need to be ready for it. So that's the idea of preparedness. Not really for zombies, although those are pretty funny. If you ever watched Zombieland, it's a great zombie movie. One of my favorites is 28 Days Later. Technically not zombies. They are infected. So it's interesting. In an infected zombie, the infected run faster, like in, oh man, what's the one that Will Smith was in? I Am Legend. I Am Legion? I know, I Am Legend. In that one, they had some sort of rabies thing, but they were fast. If you watch Dawn of the Dead, they're zombies. When you die, you become a zombie, right? So infected is different, and they always move fast. Those are the much better or more interesting videos. So, okay, so here we go. And you know me, I'm really bad at reading, so I'll try. And I'm sorry if I read poorly for you guys. What are the minimum effective strength movements to build real-world readiness and functional longevity? Okay, so that's actually a really good one. So this kind of goes beyond, hey, it's a bad time. But if I'm looking for minimum effective dosing, then it's going to be your power lifts. So back squat, deadlift, and strict press. Maybe put in bench press or incline press, but really it's the strict press. So the pushing and pulling movements of the back squat and the deadlift are great. The back squat, you get it twice. The deadlift, as long as you don't drop the bar, you take it down with intentionality, you're going to get a lot bigger bang for the buck. Now, if you're going for a 1 rep max, obviously drop the bar or whatever. If you're doing a CrossFit event, drop the bar, because that just makes more sense. It's half the work is gone, right? So, and it's not equal work because I know you're going down, but whatever. Yes, I know, Randy, if you're listening to this and I just said you're going down, I know what you said. It's in my head. I almost said it out loud for you, but I have to be a little bit couth in this podcast. Oh, okay, so minimum effective strength movements. I would do that. I would do, if I had to pick one, it would be back squat, and then I'd go to deadlift, and then I would go to add in the press. You're going to get real world strength out of that, and we know that muscle is the organ of longevity. They can actually look at it and say, you're going to live longer than him because you have more muscle. So it's just what they know. They used to think sarcopenia was a totally effective and real thing, meaning as I got older, I just lost body mass. But what they're finding is it's not causation. I got older, therefore I am weaker. It's corollary. I got older, therefore I don't really want to move around any much. And because I'm not moving around more any much, I'm not lifting. And because I'm not lifting, I'm losing muscle. So there are plenty examples of older people with lots of muscles. Now here's the other caveat. I am totally in for doing horse steroids and everything when you get over into, like if you're 90, the chances of a man getting into his 90s currently is 0.5%. So if you make it to 90s and you could do a thing to have a little bit more effective life, but you may die kind of sooner, dude, whatever. You're already like beat all the odds. Do the stuff. Who cares, right? It's like my dad. We were talking and unfortunately his brother's wife passed away, my aunt. And so she had a long battle with cancer, which, it sucks when people die, but for her, this is a good opportunity. And she's a believer, so we kind of know the outcome there. But he and I were talking about it and say, hey, is there anything you want to do to shift your health perspective so you can live a longer, more functional life? And he's like, nah, I'm 80. So I love it. He knows hey, all right, you're 80. You've beaten the odds. You're 50%, you're in past the 50% of the people who die at 72. You're already past that equation. And so he's like, yeah, and he moves pretty good. So he's like, I like my ice cream. So no, don't want to change anything. Perfect. Okay, let's go to a fun question. Let me drop down we'll go to this one. Number 4. I skipped a few because I did the first 3 for another podcast for Jack's Expert Counsel. So how many kettlebell swings does it take to spiritually replace statins? What? Let me read that. Yeah, okay, that's what it says. So people are using statins to lower your cholesterol. I would say if you really want to lower your cholesterol, then I would eat carnivore and I would swing the kettlebell a lot. So I do 2 different styles. One would be a wicked ass heavy kettlebell that you have to fight to stay balanced on. Like a long time ago, the black kettlebell that is 55 pounds or like 1.5 pood, which is a Russian measurement. I don't even know what it really stands for. It's probably a Russian word. Anyway, it's 55 pounds. I think 1.5. Yeah. That was pretty heavy, and that was the RX, and that was the weight we always used. And then they came along and said, hey, we're going to introduce the 2-pood, or the 70-pound kettlebell. That is half my body weight. Well, not really, but close. And when we started using that, it took everything I had to stay stationary. It would just swing. It would move my feet around as it went up and back. I was like, okay, I really need to control my core. Swinging that kettlebell is vastly different than swinging a 20-pound kettlebell. So I would have a heavy one and a light one, and I would do those. The heavy one, obviously, it's your weight lifting, and the light one is going to be the cardio aspect. So how many swings does it take to get to the middle of the Tootsie Pop? 3. Now, I don't really know how many swings it would take, and that is the question. So how many? I would get a really heavy kettlebell and do 10 sets of 3. That's the answer. And I get a really light kettlebell, and I would just do 30-second sprints. And then I would rest for 30 seconds and another 30-second sprint. So the idea of a statin is to calm down your blood and fix some of your cholesterol, which it doesn't really do what it says it's going to do. I'm not a doctor, so go look that up. But I would replace that with eating carnivore, increasing my cholesterol, but turning it into good cholesterol. So here's the weird thing. There's more than just 2 types of cholesterol, but they usually give it to you in HDL and LDL. HDL, oh, that's good. Yeah, let's have a lot of that, except not too much. Let's look at LDL. Oh, no, you have LDL, you're going to die. That's not actually true. Cholesterol, if you had 0 cholesterol in your body, you would be dead. Your brain is made up of cholesterol. And cholesterol is the repair repair bots in your body. So cholesterol floats around grabbing bad stuff, and then it does whatever it does. I don't know, it takes it to your kidneys, blood goes somewhere, right? And it kind of filters out your blood, and it does repairing. It also, LDL, I think it's LDL, is the transport for fat as a fuel. So if you're doing keto or carnivore, like I'm doing, you're eating less than 100 carbs a day and you're in ketosis, so basically you don't have carbs to burn, then your primary burn is fat. And to get that fat around, you must have a lot of cholesterol. If I'm doing CrossFit and I'm stressing and burning, then I need a lot of cholesterol to move it around. So when you go get your test done, have the doctor do the advanced lipid test. What they do then is take your LDL, and instead of saying, oh, you got 200 LDL, you're going to die, they look at it under a microscope, and they're like, oh, it's large, fluffy, and buoyant, whatever that means, that's good LDL, which they don't tell you there's good. So there is good LDL. Anyway, go get that test done first, but that's how I would use a kettlebell to fix some of my blood. All right, let's go to the next question. Actually, I'm going to get some more coffee and get to the next question. With the miracle of pause, I won't be gone for very long. Okay, next real question. How can men in their 40s to 60s rebuild health after decades of neglect without getting injured? Okay, so first, let me tell you how to get injured. Just start and go balls to the wall like you used to be able to in high school. Dumb. All right, what we tell everybody, and this is for our gym or anywhere, this doesn't have to be for CrossFit, but this is what we do. Hey, Use the first month as your honeymoon month. Just go easy. When you leave whatever it is you're doing, when you're driving home or, I don't know, walking back from the field or your own garage or whatever it is, feel like I could have done more. I think I left something on the table. I could have really pushed. Perfect. For the first month, walk away every time like that. What you're trying to do is build the habit of going, as well as the consistency without injury taking you off the path. If you get injured and you stop working out, then, you mess up all your progress. Now, if you did get injured, I would just not do the thing that hurts and do other stuff. So I'd keep up the habit. All right. So, the biggest thing for us men is when we hit 50, we enter our drop dead years. Our blood is messed up. We have heart attacks and strokes. So, if you haven't gone to the doctor, which I don't go to the doctor much, that's okay. But if you don't know what your blood looks like, and the doctor would kind of be able to tell you that, or go to one of those Quest labs, right? Then you don't know what's inside. And I would just take it slow. Now, you know what I'd probably also do? I say this, and I would not do it, but I would recommend it. And that is to have you guys wear one of those wearables, like a watch, a Whoop watch, or an Oura ring, as they're giving a lot of great stats, but on top of that, they're also giving you recommendations on what you could do. Man, I should have linked that one. Anyway, they give you recommendations on what you could do to improve. Now, I don't always agree with the advice, but if you don't have any advice, some advice is better than no advice, right? It's going to be, now when I say agree, I guess what I mean to say is I might do it a tad bit different than what it suggests. Though, when it says, hey, get better sleep, man, you can't go wrong with that. So I would probably add that in there, have something to give you better feedback. I would also join a environment of like-minded people that are on the similar journey and has coaches or people that are interested in your success. So, for example, again, using CrossFit Garage as an example, if you show up and you go to 5 a.m., Josh and Jordan care how you do. They want you to show back up and they want you to hit your goals. So they're going to coach you correctly for movement and longevity because they care. And they care and they're passionate because that's who they are. I don't pay them to be passionate. They just are. We found people that really care and want to invest in you. And other gyms do that as well. Not just us. It's just what it is when you have a coach and you have passionate coaches, right? So I would find a place that has a coach that's dedicated to your success, as well as people that want to move along with you that are in the same boat. For example, I would not go to, I don't know, let's say there's a gym that is into high competition, and that's not me. I wouldn't go there because I don't want to do competitions. You can come in. Evan's coming in. We're still working together. I love it. His job is beside me, working for Wodify, and we get to toss stuff back and forth. Eventually, before he goes back to school, we'll do a, how are you doing on Crohn's? How are you doing? How's the whole world going for you? Pretty good?
Better than last time.
He said better than last time, so that's signs, thumbs up. I will say both of us are having trouble gaining weight, so this eating carnivore, the math doesn't make sense. I'm eating like 4,000 calories a day, and he's eating...
Not that many.
No, not 4,000, but he was eating a lot. And he's stuck around 130, and I'm stuck below 160 now. So anyway, okay, back to the questions. So for a 40 to 60-year-old man, so in that 20-year span, go easy, go slow, listen to your body. I would also roll and stretch after every workout. Even if I had to sacrifice some of the time of the workout, that's fine. It's more important to come back than it is to get a PR that day, right? So slow and steady is what I would say. Okay, here's another funny one. What's the CrossFit workout of the day equivalent for bugging out from a solar flare with your kids and your ammo? Okay, so, oh man, I guess it would be Murph. That would be the equivalent workout because it's a lot of walking or running, and then you're doing a lot of strenuous stuff, and your shoulders are going to hurt. So if you've got all that ammo, I don't know if you know this, but ammo weighs a lot. If you, like, in the movies when they just start grabbing stuff, you're like, nah, you couldn't carry that. A box of 9mm, I'm going to say weighs probably like 4 pounds. I mean, maybe it's not that much, but it feels like it gets up there quick, and it's not that many rounds. So actually, I'm going to go Google that. What does it weigh? That was close. So it says a standard box of ammo of 9mm is usually about 1 pound. So yeah, so that's they carry 10 boxes, that's 10 pounds, including all your other food and stuff. You just can't carry that much. And if you're actually trying to carry your kids with it, well, then that's even tougher. So good luck with that. Okay. The equivalent, I would go with Murph. That's an easy one. I'd go Murph or maybe a rucking one. So what's we did Nancy today. So running in overhead squats. It's going to be more disgusting than you thought it would be, and overhead squats always are. So that might be a good one too. All right, let me go to a real question again. Ooh, this is actually a good one right here. Okay. What does a preparedness-minded fitness routine look like for a homesteader, rancher, or bug-out-minded dad? Okay, so I like the little caveat here, dad. So those little ones that you're going to be packing for. I'm assuming, well, I guess it didn't say daddy. That would be a lot younger. So we're going to say we have kids that are under 18 and we're taking care of them as well. If that's the case, then you're going to need to provide for them. So do you carry food for them or the ability to make food? I think if you're bugging out, man, you probably just want to grab. So a bug out bag, for those that don't know, would be, I mean, you should have one of these anyway, but what it is a bag that you can grab that has stuff in it to cover a certain number of days for whatever you might need. So let's say, I used to have a travel bug out bag for work. It was just the stuff that I'd always grab. So I'd pre-pack some underwear, socks, and undershirts and stuff because I knew that was something I always had. And it would be in like a 4-day increment because typically I was on the road for 4 days. So that could be like a travel bug out bag. But in reality, what they're saying is the hurricane's coming. They say to go. We are going to be gone for 3 days. So you would have stuff you can grab in a bag to just take off. So shirts, underwear, socks, maybe a change of shoes. I don't know, some extra cash. Maybe you're carrying a weapon. Maybe you got some food. Definitely cash becomes food, right? If you get away from the disaster area, cash is good again. If in the disaster area, depending on how bad it is, bullets are better. So bullets and cash, right? I guess if it's looking for a fitness routine, I mean, I would always fall back to CrossFit. It's just that much easier to do. But let's go with the idea that I'm a homesteader or a rancher, right? So I'm out on the farm doing a lot of stuff. I don't know if I would personally do this, but you could do this. Farm chores are hard enough on their own. But if you wanted to turn farm chores into fitness, then if you're carrying stuff to the coop, then say, hey, I'm going to carry this for time 3 times, right? So you're going to go quickly. So rather than just go there and drop it off, go there and back, there and back, there and back. All of a sudden, you're turning the chores into more of a fitness program. And that is doable. I guess I'd have a hard time making my chores and my fitness the same. It just doesn't feel right in my head. But you could do that. So what could you do? Like if I was to build a coop, I could bring the lumber back and forth multiple times. If I was going to mow the yard, instead of having the tractor we've got, I could push mow it, which would take longer and be so much more irritating. I guess the reason I think that's irritating is I want the chores to be done. I want to check them off the list. So, but you could do it. I can also see my wife looking out one of the windows going, are you still mowing? And so there's a piece of the chores that isn't really the chore. It's just, being available for other stuff. I think I would also add in there the mindset component. Change it from I have to I get to. Many people feel like I have to work out. No. You get to work out and then you get to provide for your family. So that's a different way to look at the world. I think it's super helpful. Okay, I'll do maybe 1 or 2 more crazy questions. Let's go to the next one. Okay, so I'm going to change the question a little bit. The question as written was, how do you get fit enough to fight off looters using only moves named after animals like bear crawl, crab walk, and all that? So I'm going to take that part out of it. That would be just too hard to do. So how do I get fit enough to fight off looters? All right. Many times looters are looking for an easy target. So you just have to do like, my buddy Eric Hall and his wife Melissa hiked the Appalachian Trail. And they said, if you see a bear, just get bigger than the bear and the bear won't want to attack. So the 2 of them would hike and they would get off sync and they would just like hike faster or slower or whatever based on who was going to the bathroom or cooking food or whatever. They just wouldn't walk together all the time. So I think Eric got stalled for some reason and he was going to try to catch up to Melissa. And then he's looking through this kind of like field of grass and he sees her stand up above the grass with her hands above her head, like she's like you would imagine a bear growling, but she's not growling, and she looked scared. And he's like, huh. And he had been, oh, that's what it was. He was stalled by a bear, and the bear went away. And so he's like, oh, let me catch up. And so he said, uh-oh, let me get off the trail. So he steps off the trail, and this bear comes bolting by. He gets back up to Melissa, and she's like, oh my gosh, I was making sandwiches, and I saw the bear come up. So I stood on the stump, and I just got bigger than the bear. And the bear was like, nah, screw this, I'm out. So that's the same thing for looters. You want to get bigger than the looters. And what does that look like? I mean, there's a couple ways you could do it. You could do the, I've got a gun in my pocket, or you actually do have a gun in your pocket, right? You could talk with authority. You could be bigger physically. Now, I am never going to be bigger physically. So I think if you are fit enough, they wouldn't really notice it. I think I would have to enable that fitness by doing some cool stuff. So there's a meme out there or a video where this bully is like, let's fight. And the kid's like, are you sure you want to fight? And the bully's like, yes. And the kid's like, hey, friend, girl, that's a friend. Would you go get the teacher? And the bully's like, yeah, go get the teacher. And they're like, well, why are you doing that? Because this kid is about to kick the other guy's butt majorly. So then he does some stretches and then does a run jump off the wall and lands. And he's like, okay, I think I'm ready. And the guy's like, hey, where's that teacher? So you could do that, but you would need to be fit enough for that. So what would be super cool? I don't know, if you were strong enough to pick up a thing and do some presses, like, hold on, let me get warmed up, and you lift something that's extraordinarily heavy. That's cool. Or if you had the coordination and balance to do like a unassisted handstand push-up, I think that would really like impress them. Of course, don't want to get your butt kicked while you're doing the handstand push-up. The other would be to take your health and fitness that you're using, move it into some sort of hand-to-hand combat style, and then do a couple of those cool things like the spinning back kick or whatever it is. That would be scary and probably make them think, let's go somewhere else. Barring that, if you don't have a gun and you don't have cool moves, you could learn to swing rebarb like it's a sword and then pull out your rebarb, give it a few swings, and they would probably get nervous and want to run away. So many times in that environment, you don't have to be the baddest guy on the block. You just have to be somebody that they don't really want to get hurt fighting, right? So if you look at wild animals, sometimes they go all out. Other times they're like, yeah, it's not worth it. If I get injured trying to take you down, then, you know, I'm done. You've seen it with like hyenas. They'll go after a lion and the lioness, and then the lion will come in and like plow them, and one gets crunched, and all the hyenas like back away. And then the lions make it off, and then they'll show them the hyenas coming back and taking out the one that's injured, the hyena that's injured, right? So they don't want their friends to know they're injured. So in a looter scenario, there's probably a hierarchy, and people want to be in charge, and the boss never wants to actually get hurt that bad. So I guess the other way you could do it is you end the fight super quick. So if somebody says, let's fight, you throat punch them faster than anybody could recognize what just happened, and then they're like, right? So what is that, like Jack Reacher and all those movies? I like the ones with Tom Cruise when he's like, okay, they're like, well, it's 6-on-1. And he's like, nah, it's really like 2-on-1 because that guy's going to run as soon as I break his leg or whatever, right? So you do stuff like that and they run away quickly. Okay, so one last real question here is, what are some signs of physical decline that most men ignore, and how do you reverse them? Yeah, okay, so I'm going to go with an easy one right there. A very obvious sign to me is if you still have shoes that need to be tied, and I see that the shoes are tied on the side of your shoe, that tells me your stomach is too big, your flexibility is too bad to put your foot in the right position to actually tie your shoe. So that's bad. That's a lot of signs all added up right there. Another one that a lot of guys don't recognize is, I use a story of Chris, right? He's like, hey, my heart rate is great. I have a 50 beats per minute resting heart rate. I'm like, dog, I think something's wrong because you don't exercise and you don't eat great. So that would tell me that that's something wrong. Turns out there was something wrong. He got it fixed and now he's at the gym, right? So they don't take the signs of a piece of weakness like that. They look at it as, oh, I'm better than normal. That's not true. They'll also take like out of breathness. Like, oh, well, I'm just out of breath because I just took the stairs too quickly. No. You're out of breath because you're fat and you're lazy and you're sloppy. So undo that. They'll also go with like, well, I couldn't lift it because it was heavier than I thought. Well, no, you're just getting weaker. So men, especially men, people in general, but men don't like to see any of their stuff as vulnerabilities. No. That's not me. That's somebody else. When it's actually them. I think with the age of having so many pictures of us online and out there, like social media and whatnot, we forget the change from this picture to that picture because you see yourself all the time. So we'll ignore the change that the pictures are showing us because we see too many of them and we can explain it away. Whereas if we had a, family portrait every 5 years, you would see it, or every other year or whatever. You'd be like, oh, dang, look at me. And so the extremes become more obvious. I think another one is, men are less bendy, and they're like, whatever, it doesn't matter. They just totally ignore that one. You still need to be flexible because your body is the ultimate adaptation machine. If you don't adapt, or if you're living that seated lifestyle, your body will adapt to that. And you don't want that. You want to adapt to, hey, I can drop into a squat with my hip crease below the top of my knees. You want to adapt to that. All right, I've got other questions on here. I did read them all, but it's been a while. I'll maybe pull these back up and choose some more. Here's another one. If CrossFit, I'm not going to answer this one, but if CrossFit had existed in 1776, what would the founders' workout look like, and who would scale it? So I'll totally do that one. That's hilarious. All right, guys, if you're looking for fun and fitness, here we are. We want to help you get fit. I have 3 rules for my coaches. It's the 3 Fs. The members got to have fun. They got to get sweaty or have that fitness, and then they're going to let you coach them. So we always want to deliver those 3 things. We have 2 rules at the gym. Show up. That's rule number 1. Rule number 2 is don't do anything stupid to prevent you from showing up tomorrow. We're also creating a bunch of these groups for you guys to join in. I think my favorite one at the moment is the D&D and board games. I've had a great time in the summer with the guys and Evan. We've come up with some new things I'm going to take through the year. I'd like the board game to become a little bit more of a thing. I don't know, it's hard to fit everything in. And I've really enjoyed recently the mountain biking. We're doing it 8 a.m., either Blankets Creek or Rope Mill. Usually we go for 1 or 2 loops. The second loop has been very dangerous for me so far. I have fallen every time we've done the second loop, so shame on me. We do have some people riding e-bikes, so that's totally fine. We want you out there having a good time with us. All right, guys, if you're in the Woodstock area, come see us at CrossFit Garage. If you need help with nutrition, we've got nutrition coaching. If you want personal training, we do personal training coaching. If you're lost and you don't know what to do, come see us. We're here to help. We do those things for you. I will work with you personally, one-on-one, if you want to. I am $1,000 an hour. Or track your food and your workouts for 2 weeks, and I'll talk to you and work with you for free. Most of the time when you track that stuff, you're going to see the answer, which is why I ask you to do it. All right, guys, have fun. See you next week.